Let's continue into our session about programming language concept using Python as our programming language. So we are continuing where we left. So let's explore different programming concepts, but using Python as our primary language. So in our last session, we have talked about IDE, Integrated Development Environment, and we choose PyCharm as our IDE. So let's open our PyCharm. Okay, so my PyCharm is opened. Now let me click here and let me go to new project. So because it is your first time downloading PyCharm, we might have a different interface. So we can name our project here. Let's name it Programming Concept 1. Then we can create. You can open it in this window. Okay, in order to test if everything works perfectly, we will create our very first file. Because it is a Python file, I can just choose Python file. I can name my file index. You can name yours depending on what you want. So I can name it index. Python file have an extension of .py. So if you see any file with an extension of .py, you have to know that it is a Python file. So we are just writing print hello world, and this is supposed to print hello world in my computer. So in terminal here, it say hello world. This verify that I can now write my Python code. Why? Because I have Python installed in my computer and I have a PyCharm IDE which can help me code efficiently. So let's return back to our slides and explore different programming concepts. So before writing, or what I can say, before diving into any programming concept, you need to understand what variable is and what data type is. When we are writing some website, when we are writing some application, or when we are writing some program to perform a specific thing, always we are dealing with data, dealing with a lot of information. This kind of information need to be stored in some memories, in some area, whereby we can use it, manipulate it to do any specific thing that we actually need to do. So what is variable? So variable is the name given to a memory location that holds a value used to store a data. So as I say, when you are building application, or when you are building a different program, you actually deal with different data. So you need to manipulate those data to perform different things. So those data need to be stored in some area or in some memory location. Those data can't be just stored in those areas. Need to be given a specific name, whereby when we need to use those kind of data, we can just call them by their name. So that is what variable is. Data type determine the kind of data a variable can hold, right? So a single variable can hold a single value, but this value which is holded into this variable required to have a data type. Data type determine what kind of data is stored in our container, or what kind of data is in our memory location. So we need to know what type of data we stored in our memory location. So that is what we call data type. So any kind of variable have a data type in any kind of language. Be it Python, C++, C#, or any kind of language, despite maybe this data type can be implicit data type or explicit data type, but every variable, you know, in any kind of programming language required to have a data type. So data type determines the kind of data a variable can hold. So in Python, you don't need to declare a variable with a specific data type. This doesn't mean that your value, which you store inside of your variable, doesn't have a data type. You don't need to declare, but actually it has a data type. How? Because the Python is inferred the data type based on the value assigned. So if you assign a number in your variable, then your variable have a number data type, be it integer, be it a float, be it a double. If you set your value to be a string or character, that means that your variable is of a string data type. You just don't declare it, but it is there, right? So in Python, you don't have to declare a variable data type. If you do such thing, it will cause an error. But behind it, the Python programming language have a mechanism to know what kind of data is there inside of your variable. How? Based on the value you assign to your variable. So how can you declare variable? You can declare variable by just writing a variable name and initializing it. Right? Let's take an example. If you want to declare a variable, what you actually need to do is to write a variable name. Then you have to initialize it with a certain value, like this. This is how you declare a variable. So let's say our variable name is x and our value is 10, right? So this is how you declare a variable in Python. You declare a name of your variable, then you set a value to your variable. So this is an example. Name is equal to Alice, age is 25, is student is equal to true. So this is how you can declare a variable. You can say name of student is equal to your name. So if you are doing this, you set a string as your value into a variable named name of student. So the Python have a way to understand that this name of a student is of type string. Why? Because you provide a value of what? A value of a string. So this is how a Python can magically understand what data type your variable stored. So also Python have several built-in data types, including integers, floats, strings, and booleans. Integers include those whole numbers, 1 up to 10, any number which doesn't have a decimal, that is called integers. Float are those numbers with a decimal point. String, any kind of text. Booleans can either be true or false. So those are built-in data types in a Python. Also, Python can perform a type conversion. What does this mean? Python can allow for converting between different data type. So you can convert number to a string, you can convert a string which is number into a number, and so forth. So let's see an example. So this is an example. First, we declare a variable called the number, which have a 10 as a value. Then we declare a text, whereby this text take a number, then convert it into what? Into a string. like this. Okay, so let's say number as our variable, which is equal to 10. Then we have a text, which is a string. Then inside the string, we pass a parenthesis of what? We pass a parenthesis of our number. So by doing this, if we print type of number, then type of text, if we print this, it is of a string data type. So Python supports a wide range of different basic operations, including arithmetic, comparison, logical, assignment, and many more operations. So let's see them. So by saying arithmetic operation, this includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus, and any other kind of arithmetic operation. Okay, so comparison operation, this include equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal. And also we have logical operation, which includes and, or, and not. But we also have assignment operation, which includes something like this: assign, add and assign, subtract and assign, multiply and assign, divide and assign, floor and divide and assign, and other. So those are different kind of operation which Python supports. So let's take an example. I can say x is equal to 10, then I can say y is equal to 15. Then I can print x plus y. This is arithmetic operation of addition. So by doing this means that I add, and now it is what? 25. If I'm using subtract here, this means it is subtracting. So and so and so. So if I'm using slash, this means I'm dividing. So this is arithmetic operation. So apart from arithmetic operation, we also saw there is a comparison operation. We can check if x is greater than y. This is comparison operation. By checking, it say what? False. Why? Because 10 is not greater than 15. But if I'm saying is less than y, then you can see it say true. Why? Because it is true that x, which is 10, is less than y, which is what? Which is 15. You can do something like this, which means that less than or equal to y, which will compare between x and y using this less than or equal to operation, which is true. If I'm saying greater than or equal, something like this, it will say false. I can also do something like this, not equal to, which will say it is true. So this is what we call comparison operator. So let's do this activity. So the activity says that write a Python program that asks the user to input two numbers. The program should then perform the following operation and print the result. So you can take your time, you can pause this video and perform this program.